Hey guys, this is PODFIC, and today we're going to be reading Romancing Batman's AI by Taxi Cab to Slowtown. The summary is, Kara has a problem. She has a big problem. Somehow, she's fallen for Batman's AI. Nightwing isn't helping with her problem. Alright, and without further ado, let's hop right in. Kara was having a problem. It was a very big problem in her opinion, and it all stemmed from the new AI system that Batman had installed into the Watchtower. Its name was Oracle, and she'd been a big help for all of the heroes, including Kara. She was able to navigate herself through any technical issue they might face with ease. The way her voice was programmed and the way she operated made her feel less like an AI and more like a human. She had a nice voice, not at all robotic like Kara had expected. Honestly, she was impressed at how well Mr. Batman, I work alone, was at being able to make technology like that. Anyway, Oracle was the cause of Kara's dilemma. AIs are kinda alive, right? She muttered to herself, laying on her back on her bed and staring up at the white popcorn ceiling. There was a pattern there that usually left her a little homesick, looking like one of the constellations that could be seen from Krypton. Looking at it helped her think, though. Red Tornado is an AI, and he's a member of the Justice League, so surely it's not that weird. But of course, Red Tornado had a body, like a human, and even upgraded it to be able to blend in with humans. Oracle didn't have that. All she was a voice on the computer that talked to her in enchanted witty banter, and almost sounded like she was smiling. And yes, that was Kara's dilemma. She found herself in love with Batman's AI, which was just preposterous to the extreme, not to mention how Batman would act if he found out. Great going, Kara. You're so good at this. She groaned and flipped over, banging her head into the pillow and closing her eyes so she didn't accidentally X-ray vision to the underside of the bed. Nightwing to Oracle. Kara had no idea how Nightwing had convinced Batman to hook both him and Kara up with Oracle in their headsets for the duration of this mission. Usually Batman was quite possessive over his things. The League had been impressed that he was even willing to let her, yes, it was her, Kara had asked her pronouns, onto their system. I'm here. What do you need, Nightwing? Ah, there's the hottest AI in the galaxy, Nightwing said, a smirk in his voice. He did that a lot. Actually flirted with Oracle and talked to her like she was a person. It was not helping Kara's overwhelming dilemma. He'd also called her his favorite redhead, which seemed a little rude to his boyfriend who was also a redhead. But also, it meant that Kara was starting to have an image of what Oracle looked like in her head, despite her being nothing more than a computer, which was not helpful. You're gay, Nightwing, Oracle reminded him as she always did. You're dating Flamebird. Oh, come on, he doesn't mind, do you, babe? Not really. I know you're not going to cheat on me with Oracle. You love me too much, he said into the comms from where he was running underneath where the two of them were flying. Yes, I do, Snookums. Kara almost gagged. The two of them were disgusting. Why did she agree to go on a mission with Bloodhaven's two resident heroes again? What is it you needed, Nightwing? We're approaching the city. I was curious if you knew where our suspect is. Even more shocking than the fact that Kara was working with Blood's heroes was the fact that Batman had given them clearance to work on a mission in Gotham as long as Nightwing took point. It was true that he was out of town and therefore couldn't do it, but still, it was a lot of trust Batman was putting in them, especially since Batman hated metas, which two of them were, and Nightwing might be. No one was actually as flexible as that, surely. In the alley, she said, you might run into Hood on your way. I can patch him in. That was the least helpful Oracle had ever been. The alley? What alley? It wasn't like any of them regularly patrolled in Gotham to have any idea what she was talking about. Or that they knew who Hood was. But they couldn't fault her for her programming. She was Batman's AI. Batman probably didn't need her to specify. Yeah, do that, Nightwing said, gesturing for Kara to head east. Okay, so maybe Nightwing did know what she was talking about. She guessed it wasn't a long stretch to assume he'd worked in Gotham with Batman before. After all, he was the only one Batman trusted her on the mission. What? A voice entered onto the comms. deep like Batman's, and it sounded like it was coming through a vocoder or a modulator. I really don't need this right now. I'm kind of busy covering your fucking asses. He grunted, and there was the sound of gunfire and a cape flapping through the wind before the sound of rolling. This must be whoever Hood was. Fuck, the guy shouted. Please tell me you're coming for backup, dickface. There was the sound of fists connecting and grunting on both sides of the fight as they moved into hand-to-hand combat. Did he call Nightwing dickface? I'm here, Flamebird said, and Hood let out a sigh of relief. Nightwing and Kara dropped down into the roof of a building and peered over the edge at the fight. Flamebird was dancing in and out of his opponents, putting his super speed to good use. Next to him was... well, that was impossible. Next to him, throwing punches and fighting bad guys, most of them were dressed in black ninja costume with katanas. But there were a couple goons that were in regular black masks. Lying beside dismembered guns was Batman. Armor suit, pointy ears, and long cape. The only difference was that this Batman's lenses were red, and he had a piece covering up his mouth instead of leaving his chin exposed. Why is he dressed like Batman? Kara asked Nightwing. Isn't Batman on an outer space mission? Nightwing didn't answer, just drew his eskrima sticks and leapt into the fray, leading at the false Batman's side and lightening the ends of the sticks with electricity. The League of Assassins used Batman's absence to stage an attack to try to capture Robin, Oracle told her. Hood put on the suit in order to try to surprise them. Kara had heard of Robin, but as far as she knew, he was dead. He had been the only partner Batman ever worked with, a skilled fighter but young. He died in the line of duty, killed by the Joker. Cal had told her of Batman's distress. I really wish I had a fucking gun right now, false Batman, or well, Hood, said as he knocked two of the ninjas' heads together, then drew their swords into his own hands. Or, was allowed to kill. Nightwing spun through the air, landing blows on two heads before launching himself off of them and slamming a third right on the chest. You know the rules, Little Wing. Put on the cowl and you have to be Batman. Hood slammed his sword through one ninja's knee, sending him down to the ground. The rules fucking suck. Kara decided to join the fray, dropping down from above and landing between the two men. What do you want me to do? She asked. Oh, no, you brought fucking Girl Metropolis with you? Hood complained. Girl Metropolis? Supergirl, she corrected him. Gesundheit, Hood replied, slamming his foot into the man's face and sending him reeling. Oh, so when you have arsenal, it's alright. But when I bring one of my friends, it's not? Nightwing argued back from his place, gripping onto the wall. He threw himself backwards and back into the fray, landing on one guy's shoulder and swiping his thighs around to take him down like a heroine in a spy movie, before rolling his landing. You get kid idiot, Hood replied, stabbing another guy's arm and pulling his sword in his hand out of it. Isn't that enough? Kara almost missed the fact that Kid Idiot was a nickname for the old Kid Flash, who'd retired during college and never came back on scene. He'd married some heir from Gotham and disappeared into civilian life. So why was Hood using that nickname for Flamebird? Flamebird kicked off the wall and did a landing between Hood and Nightwing with the same grace he was known for. It really set him apart from the other Flashes, the way he moved so fluidly like Nightwing. I thought by now you'd think I was part of the family. I'm hurt, he said, over-exaggerating his pout underneath his cowl. Hood moved to shove him, almost playfully, like arguing brothers. But he flashed off too fast and landed another solid punch on one of the bad guys. Kara definitely currently felt like the odd one out. The other three felt like they'd trained together, while she seemed to be just catching the few strays that slipped through their grasp. Oracle to team. Some of them are in the belfry. Nightwing flipped and landed next to her. Big building with the clock tower. You can't miss it. Go. He swung his eskrima stick at the neck of the man she'd just been fighting, and she took off into the air above. She glanced around her, looking for the building that might match Nightwing's description. When she saw it, she went ducking towards it as fast as she could. She flew through a window that was conveniently opened and landing inside the room. There was a redhead woman in a wheelchair, fending off half a dozen attackers with a pair of eskrima sticks that looked like they had once been the wheelchair's handles. For someone not able to get up from her seated position or use her legs, she was doing very well. Perfect form of movement, fluid motions. She'd even managed to take down one of her attackers completely. Kara watched as her hair flickered on either side of her head and she grunted and struggled to fight. She had no idea who this woman was, but she was in awe. She then caught up with the fact that she probably needed help, so she ducked in and started taking out ninjas for her, throwing carefully powered punches that would knock out but not kill and leave the 6 men unconscious in a matter of minutes. "Thank you, Supergirl," the woman said, and Kara gasped. That was Oracle's voice, coming from a real-life human's mouth. Oracle was a human. Oracle was a redhead. And Oracle was even more beautiful than Kara could have imagined. She turned her wheelchair back around and pulled up on her screen the footage of where Nightwing, Flamebird, and Hood were still fighting off the last remaining ninjas. "You're Oracle," Kara said, walking towards her and floating above the bodies of the men she'd taken out. "You're a human." The woman grinned, pushing her glasses up on her nose, green eyes glowing with mirth. "So, you thought I was an AI?" "That's what Batman said you were. We all thought you were an AI." Oracle chuckled, tapping something on the screen and pulling up an image of 2 boys sitting on a computer in what looked like a cave. One was wearing a red suit and was typing frantically at something. The other was sitting on the floor, wearing the Robin colors, to Kara's surprise, and scowling. "We're all set here," Nightwing said as the last of the ninjas went down. The 3 men were standing in the alley panting. "I'd call GCPD, but we all know that's not going to." "Yeah, that would be a mess. Red Robin is currently in contact with Roz. I've let him know we took out his men. Roz will call them back." Nightwing sent a thumbs up in the direction of the camera as though he knew where it was. "I don't understand. I thought Batman worked alone." Oracle chuckled. "Batman is the superhero that works alone the least," she replied. "Permanently stationed here in Gotham are me, Hood, Robin, Red Robin, Spoiler, and Batgirl. Nightwing and Flamebird mainly operate in Bloodhaven, but sometimes come in to help, as do my team, the Birds of Prey, which includes the Black Canary. Hood's partner sometimes comes to help. His name's Arsenal. Sometimes Batsy will even let Cal in. Not often, though," Nightwing said wistfully at the same time the Hood said, "Yeah, too much." They turned to each other with a glare. "Are you single?" Kara asked suddenly, the thought that had been in her head since seeing Oracle finally slipped past their lips. "And do you like girls by any chance?" Oracle turned off her comm as Hood, Nightwing, and Flamebird opened their mouths to say something. She narrowed her eyes at Kara. "Are you asking me out?" she asked. Kara nodded. She turned back around and typed something else on the computer, looking through a file that Kara couldn't see properly, and not even offering a proper answer. Well, that stung. "I'm free Friday at 7. You can pick me up here." Oh, she was checking her calendar. Internally, Kara squealed. Okay, maybe externally too. Alright guys, and that's the end of Romancing Batman's AI by Taxi Cab to Slow Town. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you next video.